Very burdening of the studio floor will otherwise result, causing possible floorboard sagging. Caster-mounted equipment may then slide to the centre of the floorboard hollow, occupying a position that may obstruct the broadcast. If the above recommendations are observed, the Whalon studio equipment will be of fine sort and see to function okay. The silhouetted boxes and units will be a superb rear of studio display. That was the letter that we started last week, and I wanted to finish that off. Michael Van Straten, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, tonight we're going to explore the myths, or maybe they're not, of complementary medicine. Did I just drop one out or not?
No.
Oh, it
it's
did.
well stuck in your ear.
Oh, it's stuck in my ear.
Yes.
Acupuncture, does it do you any good? Does it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt at all, really. And we're going to be doing unspeakable things to people a little later on in the programme, so stay tuned. You could win that holiday for two in a far-flung corner of the world. Music from Hugh Cornwell and lots more to come. But now, cue titles. Okay, fine. Now, Whalon tonight, welcome. Here we all are at this rather intimate time when most people, of course, not watching, but those of us who do watch are now committed viewers. And tonight, we're talking about complementary medicine. Michael Van Straten is very well known for his complementary health. Is that right? Yes. And the one thing I like about Michael is not a thin person. He's not one of those
I do not have a lean and hungry look.
No, and you don't have to, do you, to be fit and healthy, really?
You don't. I haven't had a day off for sick in 35 years.
Really?
No.
That's
and
excellent.
I work almost as hard as you do.
That's excellent. And Teresa Hale over here, who has recently founded the Teresa Hale Clinic. Mm-hmm. Now, why?
Why is he overweight?
Why not? No, not why he's overweight. I know why he's overweight.
Because I like to eat.
Because he likes to eat. Everything with garlic.
Yes.
You haven't got that basket with you, have you?
You didn't ask me to bring my basket.
Oh, I should have
said
done.
Bring my needles. I brought the basket with pleasure.
Oh, that's a shame. We would have all the things you can and cannot. We'll talk about this later, by the way. This pyramid, see? Talk about that later. Teresa Hale, why a clinic of alternative medicine and therapy? What are some of the things you do here? It says preventative medicine treatment, all sorts of things, including acupuncture, which we've seen, osteopathy, medical herbalism, and colonic irrigation. Now, that's the one I really wanted to get to. And because, I mean, the royal family go in for that in a big way, don't they?
I don't know.
Don't you?
No.
Oh, well, this is going to be fun, isn't it? I'm going to have a really difficult night tonight, you can tell. Can't you? Look, Teresa, please, go gently with me. Yeah. Let us explore this, this alternative medicine. Yeah.
Well, first, I opened the clinic not just for alternative medicine. It was orthodox and alternative combined, because I felt we should have the two systems together. Because no one system has got the whole answer. So the idea was to put the two together.
Complementary.
Complementary, or even integrated, with the two systems working alongside each other.
You're not a doctor, are you?
No, I'm an economist.
So, you're an economist?
Yes.
So that seems like a good idea. Yeah. Have the government asked you? We'll ask Jerry Hayes later whether they'd like to use you perhaps for the health service.
Yes, I could give them some very good advice.
In fact, you could take over from Virginia, couldn't you?
Possibly, yes.
So somebody did.
You think so? Yes. That's a bit politically sort of, isn't it? Really?
What?
Of course, remember that Michael only sees private patients. Remember that. And he's very expensive.
I'm not.
Talking about that, if you come along to your clinic, Teresa, is it expensive?
No, it's about, the average cost is about £25 for treatment.
So a lot of people couldn't afford that. People who would go along to see their doctor and would find it difficult anyway with the prescription charges, would find it almost impossible to come along and pay £25.
Well, some would, but I mean, if you compare it to the orthodox medicine in Harley Street, it might be £100 a visit or £85 a visit. So in that respect, it's less expensive. And I think if your health's at stake and you're going to get rid of migraine, you can say, well, I won't have that meal out tonight, or I won't buy that blouse or something. But yes, there's certain people who can't afford it, and we hope soon to open a charity that will actually pay for the treatment of people who can't afford it.
OK, Michael, why are we preoccupied with this? I mean, is it ever since we found out that the Queen takes arsenic, was it? She's supposed to take arsenic or something like that? Well, Teresa's getting very nervous here. Did members of the royal family come and visit you?
No, the fact is that people imagine, James, that complementary therapies, alternative medicine, is the province of the well-off, affluent middle classes. It's not where it started. It started in places like the industrial north. It started in places like the, the agricultural areas where people couldn't afford the doctor. They went to the herbalist, they went to the bone setter, because they couldn't afford to pay the doctor before we had a health service. Now, as Teresa said, there are very few complementary practitioners working within the health service, though there are some. And most of the schools and colleges, the properly constituted training establishments, run outpatient clinics for people of limited means. But it is the cost of a meal.
What about quackerism?
Sadly, there's a lot of that.
There is?
Yes.
So how do we know? How do I know if I'm going to you or Teresa, who may be, I'm sure, absolutely wonderful? Teresa's very nervous, aren't you? Put this on your head, Teresa, and see if it sort of relaxes you. How do we know, if we come and see you charming, lovely people, how do we know whether or not you're to be trusted?
The first thing to do, James, if you want to find a complementary practitioner, and a lot of people in my field are going to hate me for saying this, but the first thing to do is ask your GP. Because your GP...
Why will they hate you? I mean, do they think that GPs are bad for us?
Yes, there are still, sadly, a lot of people working within the fringes. I mean, there's what Brian Inglis called originally fringe medicine. There is now what is commonly called beyond the fringe medicine. There are a lot of very strange and wacky therapies, a lot of people with very...
If you disagree, butt in.
Interrupt.
Yeah.
Interrupt.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of very underqualified or unqualified or totally without training of any sort people setting themselves up as practitioners.
So even I could set myself up as a practitioner, if you like.
Easily, James, easily. I saw an advert the other day for a course which you could go. I mean, you could decide you had enough of the telly and wanted to become an allergy therapist. Then you could go off and do a weekend course, quite expensive.
Then would I have initials after my name?
Oh, you get a large certificate, you become a member of some organisation, and you are qualified after a weekend, one weekend, to treat people with allergies. For instance, a child with asthma who could die.
So if I came along to Teresa, who has this clinic now of complementary medicine, medical practitioners and complementary medical people, how would you know that I mean, I have all these letters under my name and I can sort of say, no, of course, Nicola, Teresa, I can tell we're going to be very good people, we're going to get on very well. And you could be taken in by my charm and my qualifications, couldn't you?
Possibly your charm, but not your qualifications, because...
Oh, that's nice.
Because we know we only choose people from certain schools with certain training, and we know the schools and we know the training. And if they do a weekend course, we wouldn't accept them. And we're very much in line with the recent BMA report that highlighted the good schools and the good training.
OK, so we must check with our doctors before we come and see somebody like Van Stratton here.
And they're going to look at the BMA report and see what colleges are good and what are not. I think another point that's worth mentioning about the GPs is that if they're fund holders now, they can refer to complementary practitioners and pay for the treatment out of their funds. So say someone couldn't afford to see an osteopath privately, they could go to their GP, and if he referred them, he could pay for it from his funds.
OK.
Teresa, that saves the money.
Yeah.
That saves the
That will save the health service money.
We're going to come back and talk more a little bit later on, of course. You'll take the pins out of my head, but I'd forgotten they were in there. Are these doing me any good?
Well, the two pins on the top of your head are there to stimulate your energy, because you were looking a little bit so low today.
I am actually feeling a bit better.
I know that you don't smoke.
Yeah.
But the ones in your ears are the points that you often use for it.
Oh, right, so I won't want to smoke at all.
Particularly, they also help with alcohol.
Good. Well, I'm not drinking until later. Anyway, right, back in a few moments. And colonic irrigation with Teresa, hopefully, to come. Right, I'm on over here on number 2. Right, Richard, come a little closer into me, and that's nice. Richard, of course, we've decided to give Jeremy a little bit of a rest tonight, and we'll keep Keith and Richard on their toes, because we do have 2 other cameramen. I know it doesn't look like we do, but we do. Right, competition winner a couple of weeks ago, Graham Bywater from Cannock in Staffordshire, who's off to Ibiza. Well done to Graham. There he is on the screen. This week, if you would like your chance to spend a week after September the 15th, when, of course, it will be less crowded on the holiday island of Kos. This is for 2 people. All you have to do is phone our competition line and answer this question. Where was the first Olympic Games held? Where was the first Olympic Games held? Was it in Russia, Burnley or Greece? And I don't know why you're laughing. It seems to me quite normal that it should be held in Russia or Greece. 0891 900 007. Phone lines are open until midnight. And a lady who wrote to me, I think from the north of Scotland, thank you for your letter, I want to know why television programmes always have these competitions on. It's so we can afford to put the programme on, basically. So there we are. That's where you could be going. You have all weekend to ring in. Now, do we go on to Jacobs, do you think, at this particular spot? Should we go over there? I will. I'm going to go over there and see Gary Jacobs. Can we get a little shot of Gary Jacobs over there? Anybody got a shot of him? Just have a look at him while I'm walking over. Gary, now, amazing how similar you look to Michael Van Stratton.
But I'm thinking of having alternative medicine. I'm going to be body wrapped with kaolin.
Yes.
It's going to make me 14 inches thinner.
Kaolin and morphine, that's that stuff you take and everything comes out of you,
It's what
doesn't
you
it?
use to get pus out of boils.
Is it?
Yes, yes.
Some people... Well, no,
The latest alternative medicine for lawyers, fat lawyers.
Rob Danby is a big fan of yours from Plymouth. He says, just a small note to say how wonderful Gary Jacobs is, and I've done him a little... It's almost like children's... It's almost like children's TV, isn't it? Isn't that nice? Very, very similar. Can you see the similarity? Very, very similar indeed. That's very nice. Now, we've got a couple of questions.
Like
legal
problems.
problems.
But not legal. Yes.
OK. Who's got the questions?
Gentleman there, the one who's asleep. That right, yes.
I keep getting loads of junk mail and unsolicited material. How can I stop this?
Well, you really can't. That's the simple answer. But if it's one particular company that keeps writing to you, you should simply ask them to remove your name from the list, and they should. If you wanted to take proceedings for an injunction against somebody, you'd really have to show you're suffering some sort of loss and damage, and the answer is you're not. So just put it in the bin, or do what I do, post it back without a stamp.
I mean, they just go mad, don't they? They send you stuff and nobody's interested.
Well, the point about it is that we all have to suffer from it.
And they address it to you personally.
I want to see the letters I get from banks. I get one letter threatening me and another one offering to lend me another million.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Those things in your ears are awful.
I forgot about that. It's nice, isn't it?
There's a lady over there. Got a question? Yes.
With all the talk in the news recently about people defending themselves and then ending up being the injured party, who's right?
Are you talking about the case of the young man who was acquitted of murder when he actually admitted to stabbing somebody?
Among others, yes.
There were several recently, weren't there?
Well, I'm thinking of a case a couple of weeks ago that made a lot of press. We have a basic principle of law that if you reasonably believe somebody is coming at you to attack you with a weapon and you want to defend yourself, you can do so using reasonable force, even if it means using another weapon that may be a more powerful weapon.
OK, let me ask you,
That's
a lot of people...
basic principle of law. I can understand
a lot of people could understand that, but what I didn't understand reading it, it's old hat now, but there have been a spate of them, where people have been severely injured. And the party that has been found not guilty of a fairly serious crime didn't seem to have been convicted of a lesser crime. They were carrying an offensive weapon. They were vandalising certain things. I mean, why?
I wouldn't say necessarily a tradition, but it is a fact that when a person is charged with murder or murder and manslaughter, normally the indictment is drawn to exclude all other minor alternative charges. Well, it's not. For example, there's no point...
But it is, because then you're not... justice is not being done. Well, I mean, that means if you commit a really heinous...
Do you think juries should be busy dealing with motoring offences when they're dealing with murder or...
Motoring offences sometimes lead to people being killed.
There's nothing to prevent a person being charged and acquitted with murder and manslaughter and subsequently being charged with another related offence, but not an offence that is based on the same evidence. We have to have a law that protects everybody, and whilst we occasionally get an instance where people feel there has been an injustice, lawyers are there to protect the whole public. If I could give you a simple example, let's assume there was no weapon in a man's hands, and that man was drunk or drugged, and somebody was coming at him, and somebody put a weapon in his hand, and he did use it for self-defence. Does that make any difference?
All right, we're out of time for this spot, so we'll do some...
I'm
sorry about that, but I think a lot of people are interested in that particular incident.
It's a very important...
And just before I move on, I want to ask you one more question. A few weeks ago, there was a story in the papers where somebody was trying to steal money. They did steal money from a fast food restaurant. Some girl guides, it sounds funny, but it's true, some girl guides got hold of this chap, sat on him till the police came, got the money, and the chap was just allowed to go. Well, but does that mean you can go and nick now from a fast food restaurant, and for one reason or another, the police haven't said to us, so we don't know, that you can just be given a caution and told to go?
Well, the answer is no, but it is fair to say that there are many people who, before they've been to the courts, are given one opportunity. This used not to be the case. It is now. It's part of government policy that people are cautioned for crime. I don't agree with it, but then there are other people who would
We
say
will talk
that
to
it's
Jerry Hayes about it a little bit later on. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Jacobs.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. More from Gary next week. And, of course, if you want to write into him, I'll give you his address later. We're very lucky tonight to have Hugh Cornwell and co on the show. He's about to embark on a tour in September.
That's correct, yeah.
And you've got a new single coming out, which you're going to sing later on. But you're going to do for us now what?
Love in Your Eyes.
OK, fantastic. We're very grateful to have them on the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Hugh Cornwell!
Getting better now, a perspective at last. There's dawn upon the horizon, and the sun is rising fast. I feel your presence everywhere. There's magic in the air. Maybe other people have your time, but I don't care. When we scintillate, sparks begin to fly, and then it escalates. The ground goes flying by, and then I find love in your eyes. This modern world is cheap enough, I won't make it cheaper still. Temptation hasn't got a chance with me, it's lost its thrill. Your jewel eyes hidden out of reach, the rest they know it's there. They wish they'd hung on to their dreams like you have, it's so rare. Cause when we scintillate, the sparks begin to fly, and then it escalates. The ground goes flying by, and then I find love in your eyes. Sparks begin to fly, and then it escalates. The ground goes flying by, and then I find love in your eyes. I find love in your eyes.
Hugh Cornwell, Love is in Your Eyes, and more from Hugh a little later on in the show. Now, just before we take the break, a reminder of the competition. 0891 900 007 is the number to ring. Who staged the first Olympics, Russia, Burnley or Greece? If you know the answer, ring the number and you could win a holiday for two for a week on the island of Kos. We're back in a couple of minutes. Now, welcome, Whale On. It's back on. I have depinned myself and complementary medicine, colonic irrigation, the whole stuff a little later on, and Jerry Hayes. But just while I think about it, did you like the way the camera shot came in there? It's rather nice, wasn't it? And Keith is Keith all right? OK. Keith is on camera 2, 3. Which one's that? 3, OK. I thought it was rather nice the way you moved. So if you'd like to go back, we just started again. We've got time. And can we just get a shot, guys, of Keith coming in? Because we have a... Go back and do the shot again, OK? Right from there and come back. We have a little... OK, and action. No. No, Keith, you did it faster than when you really did it for real. OK. Do you know, the way you actually walked there, Keith, is a little embarrassing, but then we're making a start, and I know that some of you have felt that Jeremy here has been getting far too much publicity. Now, on with the show. All right, Jerry?
Yes.
Good, lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, the honourable... The honourable... Get off.
Just go away.
The honourable member for Harlow. OK, now... There we are. Get up, let everybody see the little creation this week. There's the national... Hang on, stand there. OK,
yeah,
get a shot of that. That's the... Can we get a shot of the
back? No,
not
no,
the
the
side.
Back, the back.
Thank you. OK, there we are. That's the alternative therapy, the crystal healing and everything else on
there.
there.
Like that?
Turn round.
Thank you.
Yes. And there we are. That's the National Health Service on the front.
My microphone has just got twisted around my leg.
Does
Can
it?
I do that?
OK.
Thank you very much.
The similarity between you and Harpo Marx is uncanny. Uncanny. Anyway, you see, we had a little problem here. This thing that I keep turning over has completely broken.
Oh, dear. What
It's a
shame,
shame, isn't it, really?
Oh,
It's gone all over. Now, let's get back to the health service and
I can't talk about the prick you had in your...
No, would
I
you
can't.
stop
Okay.
it? OK?
Yeah.
I mean, you're never going to get a job as a politician again if you don't start answering the questions. You get letters every week about how can Jerry Hayes go on television and do what he does.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Now, what are you going to do about the health service? So far, it seems to me you've been flying all these kites, all these little kites to find out how much we, the public, will take. What are you going to do?
Well, we're spending £37 billion a year, which is 60% above inflation since 1979, which is £300 million a day, which is a hell of a lot of money. More patients being treated than ever before.
So why, in that case, are there hospitals with empty wards? Why are there nurses who can't get jobs? And why are there waiting lists all over the country?
The waiting lists are the lowest we've ever had. But when you've got a finite system...
They're still there.
Yeah, but hang on. Those, if you've got cancer, if you've got a serious problem, you'll get on that waiting list as quickly as possibly can, and you'll be dealt with by the best people in the country.
Is it not true?
That doesn't happen anywhere else in the world.
Is it not true to say that if it wasn't for charity, this country would have no national health service? If it wasn't for the people going out and raising money for charity...
Come on. £37 billion a year.
If you had the hand like that, you'd be like Margaret Thatcher. It's like that. It's,
no,
God.
I can't, please. Not Margaret Thatcher, no. Not the Jurassic Conservative Party.
I don't want to hear that name on this programme.
Oh, it's a titter. There's a titter.
Jurassic is not something I want to hear.
Okay. There's a date.
Answer the question.
Okay. Yeah, we're spending £300 million a day, 60% above inflation since 1979. That's a good record. Of course there are going to be problems. Even Neil Kinnock, when he was leader of the opposition, said, look, there's never going to be enough money to deal with the health service. So we have to prioritise.
Okay. All right. Okay. I wanted to ask you, and I will ask you very quickly about the incident we were talking to Gary Jacobs earlier. The law and order. The fact that it seems to me that people are getting off more easily now.
Well, you can't go behind the decision of a jury. The decision of that particular jury, I thought, was remarkable.
Are you going to get rid of the jury system?
No way. We've got to have the jury system. At the end of the day, that's what separates us from so many other countries.
Right, stay there. You've taken up the time, all this waffling around. Jerry Hayes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. What? No, I'm not going to do anything. No, I've had enough. OK. How is it? Where are we? How is it MPs have always got an answer for something but never have the answer? Have you noticed that? This is Nicola Hill, ladies and gentlemen. Which way round would you like me to go? You quite like me here? Thank you to the Slade, by the way. They're doing the medical murals as we speak. Now, Nicola, you're, amongst other things, a reflexologist.
That's right. I do reflexology, which is a treatment where you use the pressure points in the feet to treat the whole body. OK.
And you have brought along a person with dirty feet, very, very dirty feet, and he's even got flies on it. And you're going to demonstrate the Reflexology.
Yes, sort of.
Okay. So talk me through this. I mean, is it sexual, or is it sort of...
You might find it that way, but it's usually used just like any other form of natural treatment to help different disorders.
Because I'll come down here. No, I won't. Because I've heard that it doesn't really do any good. It's a bit of a con, and people come in and lie down, and they can be easily sort of lulled into a false sense of security.
Well, I think there's something in that if you sit down in a nice comfy chair for an hour and do nothing, you will feel a lot better. But there's a little bit more to reflexology than that.
So parts of the foot correspond to parts of the body, don't they?
That's right.
I mean, if you wanted to do the neck, where would you do that?
Your neck's around the base of the big toe, so where your big toe joins the foot. So if you press there, it might well hurt, actually.
Are you doing this at home? Is everybody at home doing this while you're watching? I hope so. I don't want to think of people not taking this.
Is that tender at all?
It hurts a little. It's not tender at all, is it, basically?
No, it's like a pinprick, really.
Have you had this done before?
I have.
Oh, I see. You just brought one of the tame ones with you, didn't you?
So, yes.
Yes, OK. All right, so what about backs? And just go through what we can...
Well, spine reflex is all the way down the inside of the foot. So it's on both feet.
Yeah.
So if you've got something wrong with the top of your spine, you'll find the reflex along the side of the big toe. And then if it's something with the base of the spine, that's quite common.
Oh, yes, I see
So
that,
you'd work somewhere around the side of the foot down there.
And what's in this bit here?
Well, those are the bits which you find that sort of waistline of the foot.
Oh, we could draw the body on here.
You can do.
Okay,
you can get a little map of the body.
Yeah.
So anything above the waist you'll find in the upper part of the foot, anything below the waist. She's not got ticklish feet.
Oh, good. Yes, go on.
Well, that would have been her stomach.
What would it? Oh.
Yes.
I wanted anyway. Yes, okay. Right. So you can do a massage on the whole body just by. I mean, this is quite good because you don't mind your feet being touched. No. Some people don't like it at all, do they?
Well, a lot of people say they don't like it.
It's a good shot if I move my hand right through her feet there. Look, very good shot through there. So anyway, coming down below waist level, yes.
Yeah. Well, you've got all your intestines there, your kidney.
How are your kidneys, okay?
Oh, a bit higher than that, not there.
A bit higher, over there, yeah.
Well, actually, if you press a little bit above that, that relates to your adrenal glands, and they're important for
yes.
stress.
Stress.
So probably all
She's
the
probably stressed being on the television, actually. So yes, it's probably yes. Yeah. Where are your legs then?
Well, the leg, it's probably easy to show you on this foot, isn't it? On the side of the foot, down there, that relates to the lower leg and then the upper leg. So if you press over there, that's the knee.
That's the knee. How's that?
Well, I have bad knees.
Have you? You're going to have terrible knees now, I should think. You've got no. Okay, so I mean, if we came along and had a course of reflexology, about how much would it cost?
Probably vary in London, probably between about £15 to £25 a session.
And it's Chinese originally, is it or not? I mean, they all seem to be Chinese.
Probably. I mean, it had the same origins as acupuncture.
Yeah.
Practiced by the ancient Egyptians.
Okay. Well, after the show, Nicola, I'll take my shoes off, and who knows, we could become good friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Nicola, thank you. Patrick, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
Well, I tell you, Patrick, I was fine, but it is so warm in here. It's a very nice colour. Do we clash? No, I think we're okay.
I think we're all right.
Patrick, now, you are in fact, you're the director of the Institute of Optimum Nutrition.
That's it.
And that means taking pills, not pills.
No, it doesn't mean
taking,
that at all.
Taking multivitamins, all the stuff we all take.
It's the food you eat.
And the food you eat.
That's the most important part.
And may I say, you look remarkably healthy.
For 50.
For 50? Are you 50? No, what a shame. I was just thinking, there's hope for all of us, isn't there? So, it says, apparently, in the bits I was reading about you, that you can actually look at somebody and you can decide what they should be doing or what they should be eating or what pills they should be taking. We could all be...
Well, the emphasis really isn't on the pills. I must just point that out. The thing is...
I'm using the word pills and I shouldn't be, should I? What should I say?
Well, supplements.
Okay.
But the point really is that you are what you eat. It's as simple as that. Food you put into you turns into you. So the question is, what's going to make you function at your peak? And nowadays we know for sure that cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and serious problems are the result, in part, of less than perfect nutrition.
Now, you see, the problem, Patrick, is that I have is that every day we hear something's good for you, something's bad for you. So that's really aggravating for people watching at home. Just twist up a little bit. I mean, really, that's much better fun. And it's easy for you to hold it like that. You know, one moment sugar's okay, then the next minute sugar's okay. So he needs tablets. What do we believe?
Well, I mean, the big problem that we have is we are discovering what is good for us and what is bad for us. But most of the things we discover are bad for us are also big money for some, food company somewhere down the line. So the confusion really lies in the advertising. The scientists, the nutritionists, and the medics are very clear and getting clearer about what optimum nutrition means.
Okay, what does it mean?
Well, it literally means eating the kind of food that we were designed to eat. I'm afraid we weren't designed for the lifestyle that we have right now. We were designed to eat things that you could pick out of the ground and pull out of the tree. Now, the fact of the matter is, the way we've been growing food, the way we've been refining food, and the kind of food we choose simply is not compatible for 100% health.
Okay, I have to be quite honest with you, all right? I mean, okay, I might look like a chocolate blancmange. I don't really care. I'm quite happy. I like what I eat. I enjoy it. And, I get a few years. That's fine. Everybody who seems to be worried about what they eat, worried about how long they're going to live, they don't seem to be having a very good time. They seem to be preoccupied with this worry.
Well, I think the fact is, as a practitioner, the people that I see are not people who are worried about their health and healthy and having a good life. They're people who are suffering. And the fact is that if you have arthritis, or if you have serious high blood pressure, or maybe you've had a stroke or a heart attack, if you have a serious disease, there are many diseases that cannot really be, the cause cannot be treated. The symptoms, the pain may be reduced by conventional medicine.
Is it not true to say, though, that the people, like the people you've just described, are going to clutch at anything? So they're going to go anywhere where somebody's going to give them a little hope?
Well, what really happens is, I mean, yes, they will go to different places and try them out, but at the end of the line, if something works, you stick with it.
What do you eat for breakfast?
Well, I have oats. They're very good, slow-releasing energy food. I have ground sesame seeds.
Do you?
Because they're rich in selenium and zinc and calcium and magnesium. I have some banana thrown on there, no sugar. And I'm a little strange because I don't actually drink milk.
Don't you?
Some people do, some people don't.
Take it or leave it, yeah.
So I have soya milk.
Yeah.
And that plus, a few little extra things, a piece of other fruits, is my breakfast.
Okay, well, we're going to lunch and dinner later. I thought you were going to say, well, I just have a piece of toast or a piece of fruit or something like that for the moment. Patrick, thanks very much. We're going to talk to you a little bit later on. But now, I'm on 3. Oh, 3's over here. Okay, yes. Okay, 1 and 2, go off. Over you go there. And we're going to have a little more music. Oh, it's so busy on this, Patrick, I know. Back to Hugh, who's ready, set up, and he's about to sing his new single. Is this out at the moment, Hugh, or not?
No, it's coming out at the end of the month.
Okay, coming out at the end of the month. Ladies, yes, I know, Michael. I'm just going to tell everybody it's the acoustic version of this. It's not actually the single as it appears. It's the acoustic version. Hugh Cornwell singing the story of He and She.
Wakes up every morning, comes back with love for her in her bed. It's something that she likes and she told him so. Yeah, that's what she said, alright. And she responds with a purr and a wink, just to let him know that it ain't wasted on her. And she appreciates it. Yeah, she sure appreciates. The sun is gone and the room is dark and cold, and love can't feel so old, yeah. Just be on guard, don't blacken your heart. That's the story of he and she. That's the story of he and she. That's the story of he and she. That's the way it's supposed to be. every day they do things for each other, just to help life be a little easier. And it sure needs to be. Yeah, it sure enough needs to be. And every night they're glad that they got each other for another day. Why shouldn't it be that way? Why shouldn't it be that way? When the rain is beating and the windows cry, love can wonder why. Just be on guard, don't blacken your heart. That's the story of he and she. That's the story of he and she. That's the story of he and she. That's the way we're supposed to be. When the rain is beating and the windows cry, love can wonder why. Just be on guard, don't blacken your heart. That's the story of he and she. That's the story of he and she. That's the story of he and she. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the story of he and she. That's the story of he and she. That's the story of he and she. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Thank you, Hugh Cornwell, and the story of he and she. And the acoustic version, that's the new single, comes out very soon. Now, the holiday competition coming up on your screens. You could win this week in costs for 2 people after September the 15th. All you have to do is tell us where the first Olympic Games was held. Was it in A, Russia, B, Burnley, or C, Greece? And the number is open until midnight on Sunday, 0891 900 007. And the more calls we get, the more guests like you we can get on the programme. So ring that into the competition, and who knows, you could be winging your way to Kos for a holiday you will never forget. We're back after the break. Don't go away. Quite remarkable. Oh, no, I'm not doing David Coleman impersonation. Now, Gary Jacobs is in the triangle, and you may well ask why. In a few moments, I'll tell you. By the way, the letters, I did tell you if you wanted to look at that. Doesn't he look ridiculous? There's a man who's appeared at the Old Bailey. This is the address. If you'd like to write to Gary Jacobs, then Mike Mansfield... Why have we got this with his name on the top again? Can we get a different one? Write to James Whale, Mike Mansfield Television, Carnaby Street, London, W1. That's a bit, isn't it, really? But anyway, you know, the 5 to 7 Carnaby Street, W1. It'll find us, and people do. This is a letter that came from Diane Roberts from Fairfield, or Fairyfield, isn't it? Fairyfield in Liverpool. Is it? It is Fairyfield, isn't it? I think it is. Thank you. And she says, could I please have Hellraiser 3 video, which I don't know, somebody else nicked it, so I'll send you the Bobby Womack video and the Simple Minds video. OK, Diane, thank you for that. Now, Vasso is with me, and Vasso is the reason why we have Gary Jacobs in the triangle, because you use triangles, pyramids...
That's right, yes.
To heal people.
Yes.
Now, how does it work? You told me, first of all, just in the break, you said, that's rubbish, that'll never work.
I don't say it's rubbish, but I say it's not the correct size.
No, well, I know Gary's not the correct size, because he's
I'm
never...
not talking about Gary, I'm talking about the triangle.
The
pyramid
what?
you make...
The pyramid.
...is not the correct. You have to be in the right sizes and not metal around. And you have to stay in the right position, is wrong position.
Okay, well, bear with me, Vaso. What sort of position should he be in?
Face the north.
Face the north. That way, yep. Turn over there, that's okay, yep.
Not sit the way he sits.
How does he sit?
You have to sit in the special chair with no nails.
Oh, okay, we can't get the chair in there. With nothing on, did you say? No, keep your clothes on. So?
No, with no nails.
All right,
Should
okay.
have no nails, no metal.
No metal, nothing.
That's all, no.
Everything that's metal has to come off. Okay, now.
Special position to sit.
Yeah, in the special chair.
Yes,
in the special chair.
Okay,
well,
never sit like this because you don't take any energy. That's
you don't
all.
take any energy in at all.
And if somebody say take energy, I will not believe it.
Okay, so he should be on the special chair.
That's all right.
Jacobs, ignore him. Gary, thank you. Jerry. Now, Vaso, bear with me. How does it work? Sitting in a... I mean, pyramids are very sacred objects, going back, of course, I suppose, to Egyptian times, aren't they?
That's all right, yeah.
But how does a pyramid... And I've heard that you can put razor blades in them and they sharpen mysteriously and things like that.
You can try that.
Does it work?
Well, people say it does work. With me, it's working all the time.
Yeah.
My pyramid is working.
So does
I don't put people to sit underneath the pyramid. I sit underneath the pyramid.
Oh, you sit under the pyramid?
Yes, of course. And I touch the people where they need it.
Yes.
Whatever.
So you've got actually some kind of special powers then?
Yes. I do have the power and energy, yes.
How did you know that your power and energy was going to be directed at pyramids? How did you find out about it?
Well, from young child, I used to stand underneath the pyramid. I used to make myself from little child, so of course. Later on, I understand I got a lot of energy through the pyramid.
So was it like having a dream that some...
It's not dream, that's all. You're not in the different planet. You have the energy. It's coming through cosmos, and by touching people, you do have a lot of energy.
Yeah, I see. We're having a shot of our friends from the Slade who are painting at the moment, whilst I'm getting a quick energy burst from Vaso in my hand here. Can you feel? Is the energy going into me from you?
You should know, not me. I give you the energy. You don't give me the energy.
It is going. It must be exciting for the viewer at the moment, as it does. It sort of goes right into my hands.
I hope you don't take the Mickey.
I honestly don't take the Mickey because I mean, there is more in heaven and earth than we know about.
But why should be in surprise? The first doctor in the world is the Hippocrates, so how he used to heal people.
Really?
You should ask yourself. You know better than me.
Okay, well, yes, no, I don't know better than you, Vesa. I feel that's quite... I had a wart on that hand and it's beginning to go. Anyway, we don't... No, honestly, look, it might go. Might go. We digress. Lots of people come to see you. I mean, what do they come and because they're feeling... How do they find out about you?
Different kind of famous people coming.
I mean, you became famous because Fergie came to see you. And I know you won't talk to me about that, will you? Because a lot of people have offered you lots of money to talk about it. Did you help her?
Yes, of course I did.
Just imagine how much worse off she could have been if she had come to see you.
Well, I hope you don't take the Mickey.
No.
She's a really lovely person.
I'm sure she is a very nice person.
And I hope everybody knows that because I think people who do not hair like professional, not friendly.
Yes, no, I agree. Can you have a little royal seal of approval under your name or not after this if you wanted?
I'm not interested in all of this.
You're not?
I'm not interested to have names or things like this. I do healing from no money, so I'm not look from...
Supposing somebody comes to you and they're very ill and they're at the end of their tether and they say, please, can you help me? Supposing you don't manage to help them, what's the problem if you can't?
When sometimes you go into the doctor and you have operation, the doctor make you guarantee he will heal the people?
No, he doesn't.
So how you expect me to guarantee anything? I'll try to help.
Now, you see, I'm stuck here now, Teresa. Right. Over here. Well, just because, you know, I think you're wonderful, Vesa, and my hand feels good, and I've had little pricks in the top of my head from Michael Van Straten, and my nutritional things have been assessed over here as well by Patrick, and I'm wondering, Teresa, how I sort everything out in my mind. I mean, would you have somebody like Vaso at your place, at your clinic?
I think it's very interesting what she does. We tend to, what Madame Vaso does, we tend to have people we've had a 3 or 4 year training or a sort of a
But you can't be
recognised
trained. This is a gift.
I know, this
so
is
this
a
is a gift.
Yeah.
Don't forget that, Jane. Don't forget that of all the complementary therapies, of all of them, healing is the first one to be accepted by the medical profession. And of course, healing is probably the oldest of all the healing gifts. It goes back to the church. Christians believe that Christ was a healer. So these are things which I think are not in dispute, that healing works for some people.
Do you find some people sort of, I mean, I know I'm honestly not taking the mickey out of you, but you think people do sometimes, don't you? Yeah. Patrick, what do you think about this? You sort of...
About healing? Well, it's not really something, you know, that we deal with specifically. I've had many clients who've worked with healers and had good results. I think it's very important to look at the fact that...
You can never tell, can you? That's the thing. You never know whether something's going to work or not.
Yeah, most healers also work for nothing. So you've got to ask, what is their motive for doing that work? And why do people go back and see them?
Well, Vasso's motive, of course, to make people well.
That's all right. Yeah. Should people be all together?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna walk over here. Are you feeling okay? You look ridiculous, but never mind. Gentlemen up here. Now, who do you represent, sir?
Health Watch.
Health Watch, and you're quite interested in this, are you?
That's right. I'm a doctor, but there's also lawyers and journalists in Health Watch.
Well, I wouldn't trust lawyers and journalists. I mean, look at us. Go on.
We are very critical of any doctor or any healer, whether it's fringe medicine or mainstream medicine, who doesn't compare their remedies with another remedy to see which is the best. We think everybody has a right to the best treatment and not the second best, and that these treatments ought to be compared.
So you're not condemning all alternative therapies?
No, but it's no good having people just dream up some theory saying you must face north and not south, unless they can show that the results are better if you face north than if you face south. It's no good just dreaming up these weird and wonderful ideas unless you've got some evidence behind them.
What's your name, sorry?
Thurston Bruin.
What's your first name? Don't be so...
Thurston, I'm
Thurston.
sorry.
I thought it was a hyphenated. It's William Thurston Bruin. No, okay.
It's an uncommon name. I'm sorry.
Thurston. You can't disprove this, though.
Well, you can show that one form of treatment is better than another.
Yeah.
You might show that visiting your GP and just having a tablet does more good than sitting in a pyramid, or you might find it wasn't as good. But if you compare the two, that's what you've got to do. You've got to compare remedies.
Patrick, I mean, how are we ever going to compare remedies? We haven't got time to do that.
In most cases, we can do research, and research is being done. Certainly in most of the accepted forms of complementary medicine, whether it be nutrition or osteopathy or acupuncture or homeopathy, there is research going on, and we think that's excellent. It's the only way of finding out what is most effective.
Okay, there's a guy down here. Could you just briefly explain what your problem was?
About a year ago, I was basically just woke up, paralysed down my right side, and they said it was a stroke, and I went into a private hospital, had all the MRI scans and all the technology of medicine, and then at the end of the day they said, well, all we can give you is sunflower seed oil.
And did it work?
I didn't actually follow that route. I went down the reflexology route because I was paralysed down that side.
So actually we saw that earlier. You had your feet massaged and it worked for you.
That enabled me to walk after 2 or 3 weeks of actually.
So Thurston, you would find this was quite a good example then?
Yes, but you see very good results like that without what he had, you see. That's the point. You get marvellous results in any kind of medicine, so you have to see which kind of remedy is getting the most marvellous results.
Okay.
You have to compare them.
Michael, do you think this will ever happen? Will we ever get these sort of...
It's happening, of course. And we've seen our MP friends have just 2 weeks ago got the royal assent to the registration of osteopaths bill. But I take exception, I have to say, to some of the ideas of Health Watch. It used to be called the Campaign Against Health Fraud. They changed the name because it didn't go down very well. I would be fascinated to know who funds that campaign, because although they say that they're always attacking the doctors as well as the alternative
maybe one quick answer. We're just about to finish. Thurston, who does fund you?
It's funded by the members.
Oh, it's funded by the members?
No mystery.
Okay. We didn't, unfortunately, Teresa, get a chance for the colonic irrigation on this programme, but will you come back and do it again? Will you?
Will I come back and talk about it?
Oh, yeah, well, demonstrate. We'll have a demonstration. I think we have to.
I can't demonstrate it. We'll just have a practitioner.
Oh, OK. Well, you bring a practitioner and we'll do it properly on the programme. Have a nice weekend from all of us here on Whale On until next weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you all very much indeed. Thanks a lot.